Hi, I'm Arlie Hoskin, author of the Living a Blissful Life blog. Today I want to talk to you about how to remain blissful during times of anxiety and stress. I've written about this topic before, but decided to revisit it after my car got stolen last Friday. I found myself using the same 3 steps that I often use during times of crisis. So I want to share these 3 steps with you again in hopes that they can be helpful for you. So the first thing that I do when I find myself in a crisis moment is prioritize the situation. I assess just how bad it is because usually things aren't as bad as they seem. So when my car got stolen, my initial thought was simply shock. But then I took a step back and realized, I have car insurance. I was not emotionally attached to this car. It's not that big of a deal. I just need to go through the process of, filing the police report, filing the insurance claim. It won't be that big of a deal. So step 1 is to look at the situation and put it in perspective. Step 2 that I always do is to identify your resources. Identify who and what are going to be helpful for you in your situation. So I was able to find friends to give me a ride, help me borrow the things I needed that were in my car, like my child's car seats, and I was able to call the insurance company and get my claim started. All of these things helped me to relax and stay in that state of bliss and peace, even in the midst of the chaos. The third step, which can sometimes be the hardest, is to find joy in the moment. This is probably the hardest step, and it certainly was the hardest for me this weekend. But if you can find a way to find joy in your moment, even when it's stressful, that's where you're going to find your bliss. That's where you're going to find your peace. I really struggled with this weekend. I spent about 10 hours dwelling over the fact that my daughter's baby carrier was stolen. And then suddenly it hit me that I was letting those people who stole my car steal my moments, and that I don't want to let them do that. So I, refocused and just took some time to just play with my daughter and enjoy being with her, and that helped me get my bliss back. So those are the 3 things that I do when I find myself in a crisis, and it can be something as small as losing my favorite pair of shoes, or something as big as my car getting stolen. What I do is I put the situation in perspective and prioritize things. Then I identify my resources and reach out to them. And lastly, I remind myself to live in the moment. And then I would like to add a final 4th step, which is when you're doing these things, give yourself grace. If you're not able to, live in the moment for, say, 10 hours on one Sunday, or, if it takes you longer to put things in perspective than you feel like it should. Living a blissful life is, it's a journey, and we don't always get it right. So follow these 3 steps. I hope that they are helpful. And if you find yourself stumbling in the process, give yourself lots of grace. So that's all I have for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for visiting us on healthyplace.com.